Hello everybody, this is Lou Gett with the University of Connecticut with PAES. I'm here with Jim Libby. Good morning, Jim. Today is February 3rd. We're doing our first site visit on the new Hartford University campus, and so we're on top of the parking garage. We don't have our helmet safety glasses because we are off-site right now. In a few minutes we'll take you down to some closer look-sees. Jim, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. So way down, Jim, at the bottom, footings going in now, lots of stuff. Take us over here to the corner, Jim.
Sure. So what we have here is the Hartford Times building and Prospect Street, Arch Street, Front Street crossing, and Front Street to my right. And you can see a lot of activity on the site. We've completed, Whiting Turner's completed the demolition for now of the Hartford Times building. The back part that's not staying, what you see now is what's going to remain.
So Jim, and a lot of people might not understand, why do you take the back side of the building off? Well, it's accessibility, correct?
Absolutely. We can load the building, unload the building, do the repair work, get close to it for foundations, and we're actually doing some repair work inside the building as well.
Because the new buildings will come right up against it, and you won't be able to get the machines that made it simple for the demolition earlier.
Exactly.
Nice. Very nice.
And what you see on the corners here where the deeper excavations are, we've got soldier pile and lagging, so steel H piles are driven into the ground, wood lagging put in between, and that helps brace back and retain the soil for the deeper excavations. In the middle here, you start to see the micro piles going in. They're drilling down. You can see the drill rig over there next to the building now. They drill down to whatever required depth for that particular area, put the steel caisson in, and in larger piles, it would have a rebar cage, but with these smaller micro piles, it's just a steel rod that goes down in the middle, and then it's concrete filled solid at that point.
So to explain to the group, Jim, and on this site here has quite a different materials. So the structural steel needs a certain bearing capacity on soils. Sometimes on one particular end the material is good, you know, and in other locations it might be down a little bit deeper. So you use the piles to get down to that same, you know, required structural value of bearing soil capacities. You know, that's why you see some of the different steps in the elevations, you know, going on in through here. So it looks like they'll be actually starting footings pretty soon, I'll bet.
We hope so, yes. Yep.
So Jim, as we were just explaining, a little closer view, can you take us through this process with the piles over here?
Yeah, you can see we've got the drill rig set up here. They're drilling for the caissons. We've got our hopper here. It's mixing up the concrete. You can see the steel tubing, steel caissons right there to the right. They're hosing down the area a little bit for dust control. Another truckload of caissons coming in, so depending on the size and the location and the length and the depth, kind of varies based on the layout of the structural drawings. And
nice.
This area in particular, it's hard to see, but right in front of that blue truck is utility duct bank, so we're having to get very close to that, but we're trying to, the building goes right up against it, but we're going to be very sensitive to it because we're trying to keep that in place and not disrupt any of the utilities in it right now.
Yeah, nice, Jim, very nice. So that's, so in the short version, the drill rig drills the holes. You see the casings on the truck, they're in smaller lengths so that they can screw them together to go out and to keep the soils from falling in the hole.
Yep.
And as you can see, there's a little pin that comes out of the ones with concrete. On this particular case, because of the micro piles, they just have like a small steel shaft down the middle. Some of the bigger piles they use on other jobs have the casings and actual rebar cages that go into it. All right, thanks, Jim. So Jim, here we are in front of the Hartford Times. And can you tell me a little bit? I see a couple of stories. Was that always the intent, to be a couple of floors below grade there?
Well, yes, the existing, that's the depth of the existing building. 6 months ago, there was a whole terrace along the front. And originally we had hoped to restore the terrace, but as we did more of the kind of testing and selective demolition, we realized it was just too damaged, being exposed to the elements. We had to demolish the entire terrace and reconstruct it. So what you've seen here is Whiting Turner's come in and torn that all off. And we'll be doing some repair work along the front before we start foundation work for the new terrace.
All right, Jim, I'll try to capture some of the detail, but it's just amazing, the detail on this front facade. I see you have some protection on the are those marble granite
Yeah, we have granite columns out front, so there's plywood protection to make sure that the stone isn't getting chipped during the course of construction. And behind that is artwork, sgraffito that's been applied. Different colors of plaster are applied and layered, and then you scratch away to expose different colors to get the artwork that's there. So the granite, you know, is very durable, very rugged. It will last a long time. So parts of the building are very enduring, but also the sgraffito is very fragile. So we're trying to protect that, and you'll see some mesh up there that's breathable. It's trying to secure some parts of it in place. So it's a good time for a university to actually restore this building, because the sgraffito in particular is in desperate need of being stabilized.
Great, let's take a closer look, Jim. All right, Jim, we'll talk about a great opportunity with the scaffolding in place in the Hartford Times to get a little closer look. Explain to us a little bit about what we were just talking about, Jim.
So here's this close-up of the sgraffito. Like I said, it's layers of plaster applied to the masonry, and you'll see that the red here is revealed. So what they've done is they've scraped away the surface as a form of artwork to reveal a red tint, and in other areas they've scraped away to get a yellow tint. And there's some hairline cracks, so for the most part it's very stable, but we have recognized some areas where it's delaminating and spalling off the face, so those are of concern to us. So we have this mesh here to help keep things in place. It's open, it's not plastic, so it's breathable. We'll be tenting in the building for the most part to prevent any more moisture from getting in. The concern here today, it's 50 degrees. We just had rain, so masonry will get wet, but we're supposed to get snow tomorrow, so that masonry could freeze, expand, and cause more spalling. So we're going to take some other precautions to make sure that we're protecting this.
Thanks, Jim. So, Jim, why don't you slide this way a little bit, see if I can get a little closer look over here at some of the ornate work that's around some of the window openings here now, too. Now, this is a terracotta work, Jim?
Correct. Terracotta pieces all throughout the building, trimming out the window openings, terracotta cornice, and for the most part we're replacing those that are severely damaged and stabilizing the rest. The terracotta pieces alone are a 6-month lead time just to get some of them, so it's a little bit of a painstaking process, but again, really worthwhile to preserve and save the building.
Really one-of-a-kind masonry, Jim. It's not something that you can purchase on the shelf, you know, anywhere at this stage of the game.
Nope.
But let's see if we can actually get some captures here of this graffiti on the ceiling, on the walls. Pretty amazing. Thanks, Jim. So, Jim, we now stand opposite where we were before. Earlier, we were on the parking garage, and just as we were talking about beforehand, you know, what a great opportunity to see the different elevations in the soils, you know, everything at work here. From the excavator over there is pulling material out so they can end up casting the concrete, or what they call caps, on top of the piles.
Correct. Very active job site right now. This is a really good vantage point to show all the different types of soil conditions, and like you said, the different elevation heights. We have some really clay-like soil that almost liquefies when it gets wet, thus the caisson pilings. The other end of the site, fairly stable soil, so no pilings or caissons or micropiles down on that end of the site.
And there's the caissons we were just talking about, a little closer view of them, being able to see that they're, you know, screwed together, pieced together, you know, and end up going into the drill hole. All right, thanks, Jim. Remember to subscribe to our Uconn PAES channel. Once you subscribe, on the left-hand side, manage subscriptions. To the right of our symbol, a little gearbox, little check mark next to send me all notifications for this channel with a save. Now, anytime we add a project, update a project, you get an automatic email notification. We thank you for your interest in our Uconn projects. Have a great day.